Hey, how you doing out there? Hello. Okay. So, once we come back and this is dry, okay, that takes, in a weather like this, it's going to take approximately in the middle of the winter, that's going to take about 45 minutes to actually thoroughly dry, where you'll be able to sand it down. We're going to come back with our air file and we're going to sand that down. And always remember, safety, my friend.
Now I'm going to square up the edges right here, and I'm going to block that out. Now you can actually sand all this by hand. Okay, from here out, it's actually, you can hand sand all them.
Okay, what I'm going to do to ensure that that is a nice blocked out finish in our door jamb area right here, because what happens is sometimes the air tools will get away on themselves, okay, and this is now, from here on out, you can actually sand, okay, you can block sand everything by hand, you don't need to use air tools no more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a nice block, hand block, and it's a solid block, okay, it's not a soft cushiony block, it's just a nice hard square block. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and block these areas out by hand. I'm going to get the imperfections out. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to fill that with Bondo, sand it down again, fill it with Evercoat. That's what the Evercoat does. It fills all the pinholes in, gets all the imperfections out, and then that one's ready to prime. So what I do is I go ahead and block this out by hand. What you want to do it by hand actually, because it'll actually be a better contour and you have more control of it sanding by hand. Now, I've got that down pretty good. What I'm going to do now, and I still haven't taken out my tape yet. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if you can see it, but the Dynaglass I used filled in the low spots here. It filled all the imperfection, the deep holes in there. And that's solid again. I'm going to blow it off easily. You don't want to disturb all that dust. And now I'm going to mix up a little bit of Bondo. Then you take your Bondo. And it ain't gonna take much Bondo because the fiberglass isn't like metal, okay? Fiberglass doesn't dent unless you actually sand it down and dent it yourself. So I'm gonna override that edge. If you're watching, you can see I'm actually overriding the edge and then I'm pulling it back, see? So I wanna do that on purpose and I'm gonna show you why. I'm actually gonna make that edge bigger and then I'll come back and hand sand it down. Now what I'm doing is I'm just feathering it out to the outside of our dent. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm left-handed, but the way that we're sitting here so you can see what's going on, I'm going to have to use my right hand, which I can do that, see? I'm autistic. That's what some people say, that I can do stuff with both hands, if that's what that means. I don't fucking know. That's just what I heard. So, I go ahead and I Bondo this edge up. Then I go ahead and I give me a little bit more Bondo. I'm going to Bondo this edge up, nice and even. See how I'm doing that? I'm going to come up here, just like so, see? And that filled that in really, really nice. I want to bring this down just a little bit more so it'll feather out. Now, if you remember, I filled that edge in thicker. So it starts here and then it kind of comes out and then goes back in. The reason I did that is because I'm going to sand that down to a perfect even level gap. What do you think, bud? Are we done? Are we done? Huh? You wanna go home? We gotta get it done before we go home, you know that. Okay. Alright, this has been an all-day job. What I'm doing right now, I'm just finishing it up. I'm going ahead and I'm rounding the edges off to match the rest of them, as you see. And I'm just taking my 80 grit. I'm not gonna round them off, I'm just barely sanding them, just to take the sharp edge off, that's all I'm doing. I also went ahead and took my 80 grit and I feathered out all the paint, okay, and I sanded all the deep scratches out, and I feel right here the paint is still a little thick, okay, and I'm gonna come over this with 180. I'm gonna go back over it with 180, and what we're gonna do is sand that down with 180, then it'll be primer ready. So, this is Bruno. He's not saying much today, are you, bud? But he's still here with me. Now he's looking at me through the camera. I see him, aren't you, buddy? Do you see yourself in the camera? Is that what you're doing? You're looking at yourself? You're admiring yourself? Okay. Let me go ahead and grab the camera. I'm gonna show you exactly what we're talking about. And have fun with it. You know, play around with it a little bit. No, don't fucking do that. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's easy as peaches and cream. It's fucking not, okay? All right. Okay, as we look at our problem, you can look at the videos back. You can see that that looks very, very nice up in there. The contour is perfect. Okay, the repair is done professionally. Okay, everything has been sanded down and it's all feathered out. All I gotta do first thing in the morning is go over it with 80 grit, 180 dry. I'll clean up all my mess that you see right here. Okay. And the top was a little bit worse. That's why I went ahead and showed you this one, because that was an easier lesson to show you this than to show you all this, okay? But as you notice, I went ahead and I took my fiberglass paste and I went ahead and filled in the gouge there. There was also a gouge right here. This piece here was all ripped out, if you remember. And we had to fix our stress cracks right here, and we will find out if there's any more once we prime it. They'll show up, okay? So this is all fixed, and the contour on that looks great. The body lines are perfect on it. Okay, we got our edges rounded out, and if we have any pinholes left over, what we'll do is we'll get them after the prime job, and then we will paint it. So that's a very, very quick, fast lesson how to easily fix your fiberglass car when you fuck it up and open the door going 60 miles an hour. My opinion is, don't let nobody drive your car, and always make sure that your safety latch is on. Am I right, Bruno? Am I right, Bruno? Safety latches are very important, okay? If you have safety latches on your suicide doors, don't hesitate to use them, because if you don't, this is what you're looking at, a freaking mess. A mess, Bruno, a mess, okay? All right, this is Pete. We're out of here. There's our car. That's a big day's job. That's a full day's job. And I've got 27 years experience. I'm sorry, this is a new year, 28 years experience. So for an unexperienced guy, that would probably be about a week's work. We'll see you later. Take it easy. And you know the rest. Bruno. See you later, buddy. Goodbye. My name's Pete, and this is Bruno, and we're over at SouthwestRodandCustom.com.